Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another video by Gretoed. I am here showing off the mod Immersive Engineering. And I'll be showing you guys some, you know, beginner stuff today. Stuff to get you started. You can go ahead and grab yourself some coffee. I got me some dark coffee. Get a little slip of that. And as we can tell, it gives me haste and speed. Cool. So, you got yourself and downloaded Immersive Engineering, or you got in a mod pack and you want to understand how it basically works or how to get into it. Well, you come to the right place. So, to get yourself started, you're going to want to get yourself either the manual or the hammer. I highly recommend the manual and reading through it if you don't want to watch a whole bunch of videos. But if you want to watch a whole bunch of videos, then go ahead and watch my series. Or another series. I don't think I've seen a recent series on immersive engineering. I see it all on Create, but not immersive engineering. Immersive engineering needs a little bit more love. It's a really good mod. You know, this is a tech mod that's been out for quite a while. I've been playing with it since 1.12, and it's kind of like a good retro factory building mod pack. Well, mod. I say mod pack because there's some plenty of add-ons on there. But let's continue on. So go ahead and get yourself a hammer. This is the crafting recipe for the hammer. You're going to need 2 sticks. You can use the treated sticks too. It counts as a rod. Anything that's counted as a wooden rod. And then 2 iron and string. And you get yourself a hammer. Now this is needed to create some of the multi-blocks. Now, on the topic of multi-blocks, before you ever build one, ensure that you never build them across borders. And I believe it's F3 plus G will show you border lines. So I was going to build one here, but as you can tell, this is actually a bad idea. So, I'm just going to take it 2 blocks back, and we're going to build it over there instead. This here, by the way, is general concrete for immersive engineering. We won't get into detail about that today, but we will get into details about more of the basic stuff. So, we're going to go ahead and turn that off, because we know, well, we're not going to do that. We can go ahead and check on this too. This is okay. Alright. And is this okay? Yep, that's okay too. Okay. So yeah, we're building actually 4 multi-blocks today. It won't be too complicated. They're actually fairly basic. So, after you get yourself a hammer and maybe an engineer's manual, if you're smart enough and don't need it, but I recommend always having one to look just in case, you're going to want to go ahead and get started on making creosote oil. But you must ask, how do you make it? Well, you need to make what's called a coke oven. A coke oven is a multi-block. It is a 3x3x3 cube, and it is completely filled in. And each of these here will make 3 of these blocks. And you will need a total of 36 clay, 36 bricks, and 9 sandstone to make enough for one of these coke ovens. I highly recommend you make several of these coke ovens. For the reason of it's slow. And you see, you don't only need the creosote oil out of here, you actually need a slag out of this too. Not slag, coke. The name of the game. Now, once you go ahead and build this up like this, you can go ahead and right click whatever side you want to be the front. And I'm going to choose here, and there you go. You have formed your first multi-block, which is a coke oven. So, what do you put in here? Well, I highly recommend coal. Actually, I highly recommend blocks of coal due to its absolute slowness. And I'm assuming this, nope, blocks of coal don't go in anymore. It used to back in 1.12. There you go. Go ahead and put in some coal. That's coke. That's why it didn't go in. Ooh. It is a very slow process. And yes, blocks of coal do go in. And they do convert to blocks of coke. And it'll convert to more creosote here. And if you want to get the creosote out, you're going to have to get a bucket here to get it out. Now, I believe there is an automated way of doing it. I think you just have to put an output hatch. I believe. If there's one. I need to research into that again. To continue with the basics here, we are now going to go ahead and move on to the next thing multi-block you're going to want to build, which is going to be the blast furnace. Now, you actually need to go, well, I would say you would need to go to the nether. If you were back in 1.12, if you're in this version, you can just find a ruined portal. And be sure you get 36 netherrack. Because you need only 36 bricks, and 36 nether bricks, and some form of magma block, which you can find in the ocean. Now, if you don't want to, look for a ruined portal, yeah, just go to the nether. It's not like you need to kill blazes like create. But, it is the same process for creating one of these. Just like so. And right click it. Now, you're going to want to make steel in this one. And steel requires coke. And assuming that we are making blocks, we're going to use blocks. And iron. Now, I believe you can use blocks of iron, but just in case, we are going to grab both. Throw that in there, and it should convert into iron. You will also get a byproduct of slag. Slag can be used in other processes later on, but you shouldn't be too worried about it right now. So, you got yourself a blast furnace, and let's say you got yourself some steel. Now, what you can do with steel is actually throw it onto your bricks here like this and create what's called reinforced blast brick. And you can make a much better version of a blast furnace, but you're gonna have to create it a little bit more complicated, but not that much at all, actually. You're gonna do the same shape with the reinforced blast brick, like the so. And then if I remember correctly, all you gotta do is just put a hopper on top. See, not that much more complicated. And these were your basic multi-blocks. Now this one here does not need power on its own, but it will need power for this over here called preheaters. So we will not get into that today, but this is faster, and the preheaters will make it even faster. So, yeah, and this can be automated. I do not think this can be automated. Could be automated hoppers. I'll need to update my information on that one. Now, the last of the multi-blocks we will be getting into today will be the kiln. So the kiln is actually quite simple. It's made with 2 bricks, 2 sandstone, and you need 8 of each to make it because this makes in 2s. I did fail to mention that this makes in 3s, and you need actually like the same amount as the coke. So 36 nether brick. I did tell you that one actually. I actually told you that one. I'm a bit dumb. But with this, once you make the... There you go. Something weird happened there. Once you make the kiln, this is used for alloying things together. You need this for making electrium and constantine, and I don't know if you can make invar. But it does work with modded alloys too. Kind of like how the Tinker's furnace does, or Tinker's smeltery does. And that's all the multi-blocks that you should really be getting into in the beginning. The next thing is that you do note that this does produce creosote oil, and you get it out with a bucket. You are going to need that, and I will show you that now. Now, this is ores I'll be showing you guys that you'll find around. You're going to need pretty much all of them. And you're also going to need this random grass block that I know an Enderman placed because I killed him. But creosote is used to make treated wood. Treated wood is used to make almost all these wooden workshops and stuff, and it's fairly annoying to make. I believe you can automate making it with the assembler and I want to call it a filler, a bottler. Yeah, a bottler. Get a bottler with creosote oil, dump a bucket into it, the assembler assembles it, and then gives the bucket back. So yeah, you can do that. I will show you a process of automating that. But your first thing you're going to probably want to make is this engineer's crafting table. So go ahead and place it down. If you look inside, it just looks like a normal crafting table, but it has some storage and a pretty cool UI. So totally worth all of this. It's also totally worth all of this because you need it in the next thing over here, which is going to be the engineer's workbench. Now this is quite a bit more advanced, and we will actually get into this more detail later on. But if you're following along with your survival series or something, make it. It's going to be needed later on. Matter of fact, make 2 of these crafting tables. so that you can have one for that thing and one for yourself. I highly recommend it. Now, one other thing you can make, and if you get steel, you can actually reinforce this, is the storage crate. The storage crate, you can put stuff inside and you can break and bring along with you. Note to self, don't break it in creative, because then it deletes everything inside. Good thing there's nothing inside of it. But the reinforced one, did I even show you guys the recipes? Let me stop explaining and show you guys the recipes. So, for the engineering crafting table, we need treated wood slabs, which is just generally made like slabs from planks. And the same thing with the sticks too. You need treated sticks with a crafting table, and that'll make you one of these. For creating treated wood, this does make 8. You just need to surround it with crucial oil, and you do get the bucket back. Now, for the storage crate, it's just like a chest, just planks treated all around. And then for the workbench, you need a fence, 2 slabs, iron, and an engineering crafting table. If you don't have iron, why? I'm joking. Let's go get some. Anywho, now that we're done with the crafting recipes, now I can go back to explaining what I was explaining. What was I explaining? Uh-oh. Okay. Well, it wasn't important enough for me to remember. Anywho, so, now we're going to get into the ores you can find around the world. So, for starters, we have nickel, and there's deep slate variants of all of these. And you're going to want to grab pretty much everything. Unless you do not want to make a nuclear reactor, then you don't need uranium for anything but to create sheet metal out of it and poison your friends by building their house out of it. I highly 10 out of 10 would recommend that. Anyhow, you can get lead, silver, and bauxite. These are some of the extra resources that you can find around the world. Bauxite is used for creating aluminum. Lead is used for lead and silver, and silver is used for electrium, alloying in electrium. Lead is good for batteries and stuff, I believe. Yes, it is. And bauxite is good for making, I believe it's actually used for making more advanced blocks. So I'd recommend, when you go mining, grab everything you see. Uranium could be a toss if you don't want to get into a nuclear reactor. And I say a nuclear reactor. There's no actual, I would say, nuclear reactor as a multi-block. It is a side effect of one of the generators in this mod, which is the thermal generator. We will talk about electricity in the next episode. I will go ahead and continue off with this, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And if you've learned anything, or if you want to learn more, well, I say and if you want to learn more, but both will work. Or if you just want to help me out, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe and let me know what else you guys want to see. Thank you, and ciao!